We talked about cracks on a concrete wall, foundation wall. In this area, most of our foundations are block walls. And so you're going to see a hydrostatic crack. So it can be high, it can be in the middle of the wall, and sometimes I guess it could be low. A hydrostatic crack will run side to side, and usually the length of the wall. And then at the end of the crack, you'll see some stair steps. So usually the stair steps, there's one that will stair step up towards the corner and one that stair steps down. What's going on there is those cracks are showing that the wall is not only pushed in, this being the inside, and the hydrostatic pressure, so the soles are expansive and they push on the wall and they'll crack the wall. So the stair steps are showing there's also, it's bowing out. So that's why you'll see a crack maybe 5 foot up, and then you'll see stair steps at the corner. So that is a sign of wall failure. And there's 4 stages of wall failure, and we won't get into that here, but that's showing you hydrostatic crack, that soil's pushed in near the middle of the wall. Now sometimes that crack will be a foot or 2 down, so 1 or 2 blocks down. That's 16 inches down, and that would just mean that there's more water at the higher levels of the soil versus in the lower level of the soils. If you're on a corner on foundation settlement, there's settlement cracks. You're going to have a stair step on the corner and a sister crack and another stair step on another corner. So that's talking about expansive soils, and water has let the corner sit down on a block wall. So that's going to be your sign of foundation settlement. I guess the farther away the crack is from the wall, and the cracks are from the corner. So if it's 12 foot away, that's going to show a bigger settlement than maybe a crack that's 1 or 2 foot away. And usually they are farther away, maybe 4 or 5 foot. Then you can get some that go down the whole length of the wall. So it could show that the whole corner of that house has settled. Those are different cracks that you're going to see. What I do notice in general, based on my experience, that when you see the stair step crack straight up and down, in other words, it doesn't do the stair step, so it actually breaks the block, especially if you have it on a corner and there's 2 of those, that's showing a lot of pressure. Same is true probably on a concrete foundation, but that is definitely a professional fix. You definitely have settlement, and a lot of settlement going on. So let's say that the crack is following the mortar joint, and then all of a sudden you have a solid block, and then you see the crack cross that block down the wall, maybe 10 or 12 of them, then you have a lot of pressure on that corner, and you're going to need to bring the professionals in. I think that on block walls, that most often the crack is signifying a foundation problem, whether it's a wall failure or settlement. Not always true on a concrete wall, because sometimes you'll get cure cracks from just the process of pouring the concrete and it curing too fast, or maybe too slow, or it was too cold, and those sorts of things. But on block walls, there's usually a problem because the block wall is very strong top to bottom, but not very strong if you get forces pushing in on it. So that's what's going to show the crack. And I don't think that there is any cause, based on my experience, where it's okay to have a crack in a block wall. It's usually showing the start of a problem, and then the bigger the crack, the more progression. So you end up, some cases we've seen walls with 4 inches of deflection. That's stage 3 wall failure. The next step is where the wall falls in. So bonus material, there's differences in cracks in concrete walls and block walls. And so I hope I've clarified that. We're going to dig in another video in the future showing the different types of wall cracks. And so hope to see you then. See you next time.